Hello and welcome to Channel Sports this morning. It's great to have you join us again. I am Tayo Salam. This is what the show looks like. We're starting off with updates concerning the Falcons of Nigeria. The Nigerian Football Federation has set to rejig the Falcons technical team ahead of the final Alcaris qualifier against Cote d'Ivoire. Also coming up on the show, the Sports Ministry have suspended the Nigeria Basketball Federation elections initially set to hold on October the 30th. Also in sports this morning, this time around in football, Antonio Conte has been sounded out by Manchester United as potential replacement for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. As the tip of the iceberg, there's a lot still to come on the show in the world of basketball, NBA to be precise. We also got stories from the world of tennis for you as well, too, in Vienna, and so many more to come in the next 55 minutes or thereabout. I'm not flying solo alone. I've got Wilfred Umonga, who's making a return after some time on the sidelines. Wilfred, good morning. It's great to have you on the show again.
Good morning, Tayo. Always a pleasure being here. I'm sure you know that.
Yeah, I know.
You mentioned the Super Falcons. The NFF did use keywords in that particular press release saying rejuvenate.
Okay.
And then there's another one about reinvigorate.
Yeah,
they
interesting.
actually need to tell us what exactly they mean by those words.
Yeah, we will find out in the next couple of weeks. Indeed, very interesting developments concerning the Super Falcons of Nigeria. You recall they defeated Ghana 2-1 on aggregate to advance into the final round of qualifiers for the African Women's Cup of Nations next year in Morocco. They're taking on the Elephants of Cote d'Ivoire next, and the Super Falcons, or the NFF, have decided to rejig, whatever that means. We'll be trying to, see during the course of the program. But before we get into all of that, the details of all of that, let's go to the world of tennis. Like I said, we've got updates coming for you from the Vienna Open, where Andy Murray finally got his first top 10 win of the season against Hubert Hurkacz. We saw that coming. Wilfred, Andy Murray beating a top 10 player for the first time this season. The season is pretty much over. This is October.
Over. Yeah, and you may even want to go way back into last year because it's his biggest win in 14 months.
Wow.
And so that's a massive one for Andy Murray. And for someone in the top 10, it shows you that Andy Murray isn't finished. He's had his struggles, injuries, ill health, and all the rest. But here he is telling us that, look, I'm very much around. It's actually a competition he's won twice in the past. So last time, if I recall correctly, was in 2016. So it's not a surface that is new to him. It's just that because of the challenges he's had, that's the reason he hasn't been playing so well lately. But it's good to see that he's won this one. I'm glad. And next up for him should be Alcaris in the next phase of the Vienna Open. So let's hope that maybe he probably goes all the way and wins this one. It would be nice to see Andy Murray lift a trophy. This ATP 500, so he can start from this. And next, it could even be the 1000s.
Right, the 1000s, then perhaps the Grand Slam.
Another Grand Slam. Remember how long it took him to win a Grand Slam?
Exactly. So I'm just going to put it out there. I mean, we've seen Andy Murray, who was, by the way, perfect in Vienna, like you said. He's won 9 matches straight now. After this one, he's never lost, and perhaps I will win a third title there. Back to you in terms of Andy Murray and winning titles. We've seen in recent past great players that have been totally counted out from winning majors. Tiger Woods rarely comes to mind. Phil Mickelson rarely comes to mind. I know you say it's a different sport, and golf.
But it's fine.
Yeah.
For golf, you could. It's easy to have different winners in golf. You don't necessarily have players go on and dominate the majors. Maybe except for Tiger. But anyone could just come up, Brook Lopez, just keep naming them, just show up and win the Masters. But the thing is, for Andy Murray now, let's stay with tennis. This guy, even Roger Federer, had a dry spell for a while, and many said he was never going to win a Grand Slam again. But he came up and still won a couple, getting up to 20. So
that's where I'm going. Like, are you ready to go out on a limb and say Andy Murray is done, cannot win a Grand Slam again? Or you'd say
it's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
It is. If it happens, I'll be glad. But honestly,
very unlikely.
I doubt it.
Very unlikely. Not with the guys on the scene right now.
No, not at all.
All right. Anyways, congratulations to Andy Murray advancing to the next round of the Vienna Open, where he's going to take on next-gen star Alcaris. Alcaris is such a great young player. A lot has been expected of him. And every time he steps on the court, he always finds a way to deliver against a much more experienced campaigner in Dan Evans. Alcaris played like the veteran. The first set went into a tie break. Alcaris prevailed 7-6. In the second set, that wasn't close at all. He prevailed 6-3 to advance into the second round of the Vienna Open. 6-4, 6-3. That's how it ended. Pardon me there. Alcaraz defeating Dan Evans of the great Britain. And that's how I was able to reach the second round in Vienna. He's going to take on Andy Murray next, so that's going to be a very big test for the youngster. But from what we've seen from Alcaraz in his very short career, Carlos has shown that he can actually play with the best on the ATP Tour.
Yeah, certainly. The odds may favor me slightly, kind of. The balance between Murray and Alcaraz, but the thing is, Alcaraz will go into this one as a favorite. Forget that.
Really?
Yeah, that Murray has won this tournament before, but you also know that each time Murray takes to the court, we expect a very tough challenge for him, and we've seen people beat him consistently over the last 1 year plus, and so getting past Alcaraz would be a huge bonus for him, but it's a game that looks balanced in my opinion, and I see it going into 3 sets.
Interesting. Alcaraz, obviously you really have a lot of time for Alcaraz, the youngest player in the top 100 in the ATP ranking. So he's a very good player, and we'll see how it pans out.
Yeah, and but the win against Danny Evans, for me, it wasn't unexpected. Yeah, the Brits will always sing the praises of Evans,
Yeah,
but
of course.
we've also seen him falter at tournaments when you expect him to go further, but that wasn't a surprise in my opinion.
Okay.
So, but for Alcaraz against Murray is one I'm really looking forward to.
I am looking forward to that particular battle as well. It is pretty much a battle of generations. Andy Murray on his way out of the game. Yeah, I say that respectfully. While Carlos Alcaraz is pretty much, you know,
climbing the rung.
Climbing the rung, exactly. So we'll see how it pans out in that head-to-head between those two players. We're still in Vienna. Let's tell you about Matteo Bertini. Matteo Bertini is also through to the second round, and most importantly, or more importantly, is actually clinched the place in the ATP finals for
which
the
is
end of the
big.
season.
Yeah, everyone is looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
And Kaspar Ruud also moved up in the rankings thanks to what happened at the Kremlin Cup, and everyone really looking forward to that. And honestly, the ATP final is one tournament that you can't even pinpoint and say this person will go on and win it. So you could just see one surprise package stun everyone. But it's good to see that Berrettini has progressed to that one, and the best players will certainly be on show.
Indeed.
When the ATP final comes calling.
Yeah, at the end of the season, Bertini is out a very consistent season. We've seen him in the Grand Slam final already. We've seen him get to the later stages of majors as well too. So I think this hasn't come as a surprise to anyone. To this particular game, I was facing up against Alexei Popyrin. In that particular matchup. He had 7-6 and 6-3 in favor of the Italian #1. 22-year-old Australian-made Bertini work for the first set. That's why he went into a tie break, obviously. But the Italian came to play in the second, firing 5 aces and getting the crucial break to go 4-2 up. And from then on, there's no looking back for Bertini, who's now through to the second round of the Vienna Open. And more importantly, he's qualified for the ATP World Tour Final. So fantastic performance coming from all of these great players, even with the absence, or in the absence of the top 3 players, Rafael Nadal, Novak Djokovic, and Roger Federer. We're still seeing some good tennis.
Yeah, maybe expect Zverev to go on and dominate the finals when it comes calling.
The finals, right?
Yeah, the Russians also. Rublev, you should have your eyes on him. Who else?
Tsitsipas, Medvedev.
I will pass on him.
Medvedev.
For Medvedev, sure. Medvedev, certainly.
Okay. All right, so that's it for tennis now. From the tennis court, let's go to the basketball court and give you updates coming from the NBA games that were played last night and early this morning. We're here to tell you that the Boston Celtics have made it back-to-back wins under coach Ime Udoka. They were in action against the Charlotte Hornets. That game was a very tough one. It went into overtime. But at the end of it all, it was the Celtics that prevailed 140 to 129. Like I said, it's the second win for Emil Udoka as a coach. Well, fantastic indeed. Let's move on to the Bucks and the Pacers. Ended 119 to 109 in favor of Milwaukee. Giannis was very good in that game. We'll tell you all about his numbers later on the show. The Pistons lost against the Atlanta Hawks 122 to 104. Trae Young starred big time for the Hawks in that particular game. The Wizards were beaten by the Nets 104 to 90. So it's good to see the Nets bouncing back from losing their first season home opener. That's a couple of days ago. The Orlando Magic lost to the Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler was immense in that particular game. The Bulls won 11 over the Raptors, 108. The Bulls are looking really good at the moment. 4-0, right? Best starts in a while. But it's still early days, so we need to just relax a bit. But you can understand the excitement coming from that part of America right now. The Pelicans were in action against the Timberwolves. They ended 107 to 98 in favor of New Orleans. The Cavs defeated the Denver Nuggets surprisingly 99 to 87, while the Blazers lost against the Clippers 86 to 116. All right, let's start with our guy. The Boston Celtics taking on the Charlotte Hornets in that particular game, where it was Jason Tatum for the second game in a row scoring over 30 points. This time around, he scored 41 points, a season high. Jaylen Brown added 30, including an emphatic dunk in overtime as the Boston Celtics defeated the Charlotte Hornets 140 to 129, handing the Hornets their first loss of the season. Dennis Schroeder had 9 of his 23 points in overtime. Robert Williams added 12 and 16 rebounds in a game that featured 22 or 28 lead changes. Michael Bridges had 25 and 10 rebounds, while LaMelo Ball added 25 points on 7 3-pointers for the Hornets before fouling out in overtime. Fantastic win for the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, certainly. And of course, major reason we're talking about this also.
Our guy.
I think the players haven't let him down. They've been scoring which is quite good. You mentioned LaMelo Ball. Quite impressive from him in the games he's played this season.
Very, very good start.
He will go on to be the biggest of the
balls, right? It looks that way.
It looks that way because he's been playing very well this season. So hopefully he continues in that state. For the likes of Schroeder he was one of those pieces that was left go by the Lakers. We all recall from last season a few games where LeBron James wasn't happy with certain performances, but he could also see that they're putting up the numbers. But in all, it's a team effort, and for the fact that they are scoring, which is good for them. And hopefully, our guy makes it into the playoffs.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome, honestly.
Yeah, we're talking of a Boston Celtics side that have championship aspirations. They have 2 bona fide all-stars in the side, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. So they want to be up there.
And at least make it to the semi-final.
Exactly.
In the conference. Maybe the final. Even.
Why not? Why not? So it's a lot of pressure for coach Emil Udoka, but it looks like he's handling it very well.
So far, so good.
It doesn't look like the job is bigger than him at all. And that's why he's a very excited man this morning. Let's get his post-game reaction. Emil Udoka will also get to listen to the star of the show, Jason Tatum, speaking after the overtime victory over the Charlotte Hornets. Yes, Jason Tatum, 41 big points on the night for the Boston Celtics in their win over Charlotte Hornets. Next up for them is the Washington Wizards at the TD Garden, while the Hornets will visit the Orlando to face the Magic. Let's move on to the Chicago Bulls now. Like I said, they've started the season on fire, 4 wins in a row. They went to the Toronto Raptors and they won that game very, very convincingly, 111 to 108. That's how it ended in favor of the Chicago Bulls. It's their best start in a very, very long time. And a lot of credit is being given to DeMar Derozan. DeMar Derozan, got acquired from the San Antonio Spurs. It's a new look Bulls side. If you look at the team, they've got LaMelo Ball as well, too. They've got, of course, they still have Zach Lavin. They have Nikola Vucevic as well, too, is in the side. They new look side, and they're looking very, very well at the moment. Lavin scored 22 points on the night. DeMar Derozan finished with 26 against his former side, scoring 11 in the final period as the Bulls open the season with 4 straight wins for the first time since the 1996-1997 season. Do you know what I mean?
Can we dream again?
Nah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, who knows? Why not? Why not?
This thing, it starts like a joke.
Yeah.
Because permit me to just digress a bit and go to what Phoenix did, starting after with the bubble. Yeah.
After the bubble, like, yeah, that was a fluke.
Even in the bubble, they were the best team in the bubble.
Fortunately.
And we all felt and narrowly missing out on the playoffs.
Exactly.
Like, okay. But next season, we saw how they dominated, went all the way, took out Lakers in the first round of the playoff, went all the way to even play in the finals. So sometimes you never can tell. Yeah, new look team. They require time to blend and forge ahead. But credit must go to them. They've done well. The Lakers already this season have a lot of new pieces, and you expect that maybe they also need to blend and other. But it's not been happening. They've been losing, only winning their first game recently. Yeah. But for these guys to have gone 4-0 at the start of the season, it may be early days, but let's keep an eye on them.
Yeah, early days, but it's mighty impressive. I can't take anything away from the performance of the Chicago Bulls so far this season. DeMar Derozan, let's get his post-game thoughts.
My job, just using my experience, understanding those moments, understand what needs to be done. We got kind of stagnant. We couldn't score. Those guys went on the run, and it's always my job, especially late game, close out the game, understanding what needs to be done, and just getting to my spots, trying to make big shots. Something that I'm not, shy of. Always want those moments and understand the magnitude of it. I mean, it was part of the reason they wanted me to come here. Was my experience being in those moments, understanding how to deal with those moments. It's the 4th game of the season, and we have to deal with that. But it's a learning experience. Me just teaching other guys, but we all understand. It's a lot of stuff we could go back and look at, mistakes we made, but I think when the game turns that way, it's on me to kind of slow it down and get to my spots.
DeMar Derozan indeed taking control of that game against the Toronto Raptors, especially in the 4th quarter, where he scored 11 points in that victory for the Chicago Bulls. The best start since the 1996-1997 season. 4 wins in a row. We need to go on a break now. When we come back, we'll be taking a look at the standout performers from the NBA. We also have updates coming from the camp of the Super Falcons ahead of the next qualifier against Côte d'Ivoire. Join us again. You're welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. Let's take a look at the top performers in the NBA games that were played last night and this morning. We're going to start off with Jason Tatum, of course, 41.7 rebounds and 8 assists for the Celtics in a win over the Charlotte Hornets. Think about wherever you are, Jason. Also making a short list is Giannis for the first time this season, and I can assure you he's going to be making this list for many more times.
Many more. I actually like the fact that Giannis is not the only top performer at the Bucks this season. The other guys have
stepping
done
up
well.
as well.
Like Chris Middleton has been consistent. Drew Holiday has done his bits, just that injuries hasn't been friendly. He's been off and on this season, but the others are coming up. And then more importantly, our guy
Jordan Nwora as well. So I believe one day he's going to make this particular short list before it's all said and done. Trae Young as well. Fantastic game for the Atlanta Hawks. 32.4 rebounds and 9 assists. Next up is Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Buckets, however you want to call him. 36.3 rebounds and 2 assists for the Miami Heat in their own victory as well. And last but not least is Karl Anthony Towns for the Minnesota Timberwolves. 32 points, 14 rebounds, and 7 assists. Take a bow wherever you are, guys. Yeah. All right, so that's it for the NBA. Let's go from the basketball courts now to the handball courts and give you updates about the Handball Premier League right here in Nigeria. Yes, believe it. There's a Handball Premier League that is currently going on. We're on match day 5. We've got the results for you from the Abuja Center, starting with Conference Stars with a 2-point victory over Plateau Vipers, 22-20. It's how that game ended. The safety shooters were also victorious against the Touch Marine Academy, 124-19. Kettle Stars, 24-37. They lost against the Lagos Seasiders, the Police Machine 21-28. They lost against the Defenders, while Niger United defeated Remo Strikers 26-21. In the women's segment, it was Edo Dynamos with a 31-16 victory over Cato Queens, while Adorable Angels, of course, won their game. Adorable then an angel.
Yeah.
Wow. They won their game against the Plateau Peacocks 35-24.
I wonder what happens when they lose. Will they still be adorable?
Yes. Yeah, what's in the name? Anyways, let's go on to the fixtures for match day 6. It's going to be Touch Marine taking on Lagos Seasiders. There's also Plateau Vipers versus Cato Stars. Police Machine versus Remo Strikers. The Defenders will take on Confluence Stars, while Safety Shooters will trade tackles with Kano Pillars. And for the women, it's Confluence Queens versus Emo Grasshoppers. Safety Babes versus Adorable Angels. But also Queens versus Cato Queens. Plateau Peacock versus Seasider Babes. All right, so you can join us tomorrow for all of the updates concerning the Nigeria Handball Premier League going on in Abuja. Okay, all right, then let's take a listen to a post-match reaction coming from the Safety Shooters.
Well, the organization of the championship has improved considering the previous editions. This edition, there is a lot of improvement and a lot of innovations, which we are very, very happy, and we applaud the board over all these innovations, which is very, very okay. But it's in the area of officiating. I think, and it has gone beyond the Nigerian Handball Referee Council, but what we would suggest per se is in the area of how do we checkmate officiating that some people perceive as not being right or wrong. Like if you look at other climes, other sports, let's take an example of football. Football has introduced the VAR, where you can use it to check whether what decision a referee has taken is right or wrong. That also has been introduced in some other sports, like in tennis, where you look, when a referee, a linesman will say, okay, it's in or out. There are also technology to determine whether those things are correct or not. There are one or two other sports too that has done that. So we also want to employ the IHF as well as the Handball Federation to also push forward. Let us have a way where such decisions can also be checkmated. We're not thinking of winning for now, but we know that we will win. We want to assume that we will win every match as it comes. As it comes. For us, we will take every match that comes, we will take it, give it the attention, the proper attention it deserves. And we have very, very bright chances of winning. So we will not lie it aside. We would approach every match with the mindset of winning.
All right, that's a reaction coming from the Safety Shooters. Interesting to hear him talk about technology in handball.
But I think it's even easier to achieve on indoor sports, like we have in the NBA. You just need a small screen there by the touchline where the officials will always get to review certain calls. I think that's easy to achieve. But if it's in football, for example, that's a tough ask. Like here in the NPFL, we honestly look forward to a time when we have that. But I'm not sure it's happening anytime soon.
Oh, you never know. Fingers crossed.
Know, actually.
It is as an expensive,
technology.
Undertaking, definitely. So we'll see. Anyway, so that's it for handball. For now, let's go and give you updates in the world of karate as well. Yes, karate. The karate goes on in Nigeria as well, where the African Union of the Karate Federation has commended the initiative of the Zainab Saleh International Female Open Karate Championship for becoming a breeding ground for world-class athletes. The African Union of Karate Federation said the event has continued to draw talents from all parts of West Africa, and in particular Nigeria. West Africa's leading karate championship for women had over 180 karate practitioners, a tournament record from all over the country, and the Benin Republic take part in the 3-day event. there was a demonstration of wheelchair karate at the competition, which ended at the Molade Okoya Thomas Indoor Hall of the Teslim Balogun Stadium as well. Let's get reactions coming from that tournament.
This is a standard international competition, and I believe the more we have of this, the more you're going to get people understanding the rules, understanding what an international competition is all about. So I believe that with this championship, we're going to be able to achieve that. The most important thing is that we've achieved what we need to achieve. I just pray that it's going to be able to get better in terms of more participation, because after all, I'm doing it for the athletes, it's not for me. I'm just organizing the championship for them to have an avenue to express themselves. So I just pray that we get more participation, and I know that one of the reasons why we couldn't get as much as I had hoped was because of COVID restrictions. There are quite a few countries up until today that have contacted me and said they couldn't attend because they have COVID restrictions in their various countries. So I'm hoping that next year it will get better.
Our strategic goal is to actually see how we can do grassroots development, particularly at the secondary school level, across the entire state. Okay, the challenge has always been getting partners in terms of funding and in terms of sponsorship, and that's what we are looking at. We are already talking to some corporate bodies that can partner with us, and this particular event will showcase their brand to all the children and to parents, to all the stakeholders in the karate community that are running into several thousands and millions of people across the nation. As the vice president of Karate Federation of Nigeria, we also currently are looking at international championship in Africa. There's one coming up in December in Cairo, and we're also looking at the Olympics coming up in the next 4 years. Basically, we are developing our national athletes so that we can do so well in those upcoming international events.
There you go. This Omololu Bello was the vice president of the Karate Federation of Nigeria. It's good to see young stars are taking part in this sport. I mean, the benefits of combat sports in general cannot be overemphasized.
No, it can't, and I'm glad to hear from the vice president the plans they have outlined for them, and he also talked about the next Olympics, which is good also, so they are preparing them early for that one. But more importantly, we know not all these athletes will go on to maybe represent Nigeria eventually.
That level.
At the senior level.
Yeah.
But it's also good that whatever they learn here,
it's going to be part of forever.
I'm sorry, even in self-defense, it will be very useful, very important, especially for the women.
Yeah, especially for the women as well too. Anyways, so congratulations on the successful hosting of the Women's African Open Karate Championship. Let's leave that now and move on to, of course, the BOS Youth Cup, which is going to be going down in November. The Lagos State government has unveiled plans for the maiden edition of the Babajide Olusegun Sanwo-Olu Youth Cup, slated to kick off in November. Like I said, Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Sports, Anthony Adeboye, at the briefing said the competition will discover budding talents and serve as a catalyst for the development of the country's local league. 20 teams across the state will slug it out in the maiden edition of the tournament. The final is scheduled to take place at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, Onikon, with the governor handing the trophy to the winning side. Let's take a listen to the organizers of the competition on what it's all about.
The purpose of the competition is to give those boys the opportunity to showcase their talent and become better in the sport they choose as a career. And that is the purpose why they decided to go ahead to have a BOS Cup competition.
It's Pan-Lagos. All the local government and LCDAs in Lagos will be participating. And of course, there will be very handsome rewards at the end of the day, even from the eliminating stages. And, they're going to be well, catered for. And the governor himself will be present because he's committed to this. He said we should go ahead. We have the full backing of the man. At the end of the day, it is for the youth to be fully engaged, fully involved in the affairs of government.
The last round would help to checkmate players that wants to register for other local government where they're not residing. And recall that this event is endorsed by the Lagos State Football Association, and we have large database. So any player that registers and tries to cheat will go back to previous records that we have. So we'll compare what the player has filled online and what we have.
People talk about football. Before, Lagos had been known to produce talent, to produce stars at the national team level. For some years now, we've not seen that. With this program now, we'll be able to see a talent showcase themselves, play at the national team level, under 17, under 21, under 23. From this program, we're going to see a lot of talent coming back from Lagos to represent the state and the country as a whole.
The BOS Youth Cup is all set, all ready to kick off in November. We'll give you, of course, we'll be covering and giving you all of the updates on that competition in the course of our subsequent programs. Let's move on quickly to the big news coming from the Basketball Federation of Nigeria and the Sports Ministry. The Sports Ministry suspending the polls which were supposed to hold on October the 30th. This is not a surprise to anyone that has been following all of the activities of the Basketball Federation in the country, right?
Yeah, internal wranglings, factional leaderships and all the rest. But again, the Musakido board has been the one in charge of basketball lately, in charge of the different teams over the last few years. But the elections were supposed to hold later this month. That's the Congress 30th, like you rightly said. And there were lots of talks about it being cancelled, and I'm not surprised that the ministry has finally wielded that hand and say, hey, this is cancelled for now. So the reasons they gave, and according to the ministry, they say it's actually necessary to avert further deterioration of the leadership crisis, and they are doing this to try and find a workable solution to the current disagreements between the federation. So, yeah, but even for that, I want to say that even the recent elections into the other MBBF boards from the various constituencies, that stands. And those elected also. So, but let's just hope that this is settled, because this, by extension, could be part of the challenges that the Tigress
of course it
are
is.
facing.
Of course, when there is no bona fide board in place, how are they supposed to handle their issues?
Exactly. So the earlier we fix this, the better.
Indeed.
Yeah, because it's becoming an embarrassment of some sorts. Because when the ladies went out, put out the video, we've seen them in various platforms talking about how they are unhappy, basically. Yeah, so this needs to be sorted, and it's good to see that it's being sorted in a way.
Yeah, it's sorted in a way. I don't see any sorting out in this situation, suspending it and all of that. Anyways, we will continue to monitor the situation, but the story is the Sports Ministry have suspended the MBBF elections indefinitely. So we'll see how it goes from here. Let's leave the drama from the NBA, not the NBA, from the MBBF. Yeah, of course, it's excitement all around when it comes to the NBA. No drama whatsoever, only on the court. But in Nigeria and the MBBF, a lot of drama off the court. Let's go on to the Falcons of Nigeria as well. And like we said at the start of the show, the NFF have decided to rejig the team ahead of their final outcome qualifier against Cote d'Ivoire. And this is open for interpretation, right? The technical team right now is led by Randy Waldrum. He's got a few assistants with him. And like I said, it's open for interpretation. Where do you think the NFF are going with this one from your own?
Well, the thing is, the Super Falcons may have qualified for the final stage of the African Women Cup of Nations qualifier, where the next phase, Cote d'Ivoire. Yeah, that's early next year. But it wasn't convincing.
Yes, it wasn't.
It wasn't. Yeah, no disrespect, it's the Black Queens. But
yeah, they're a big side.
Over 2 legs, in my opinion, I think the Black Queens looked like a team that are well coached. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my opinion.
But they lost.
But they lost, of course. The Super Falcons always superior. But we can't continue this way. That's what I think. I'm not putting the blame totally on the management, on the coaching crew. But the thing is, they may win, but they don't look convincing. Now, you see a lot of players dilly-dallying with the ball, delaying the pass, and this is not what you want to see at top a top side.
You want to see the Falcons play a lot better than this.
Let it progress,
I agree.
progress the ball and move into an attacking phase. Most times they get the ball, they just lob it forward, looking for Aziza Toshuala. And I'm sorry, it's not exciting. And many that have followed this team over the years, they know this team as one that has dominated the scene. Maybe bullied their way also because they were beating teams with reckless abandon. It permits me to use that, but
that's no longer the case.
That's no longer the case.
The other African countries are closing the gap.
We're even beaten by
South Africa, right here in Lagos.
Here in Lagos. Yeah. And South Africa totally dominated that fixture. And if we were to replay that again, I won't be surprised if South Africa go on to beat Nigeria a second time. So this one was close. Even when we had a one-man advantage, the Ghanaians were still playing very well, although eventually both teams were reduced to 10 apiece. But in all, it wasn't convincing. And don't forget that this same Ivorian side were responsible for stopping Nigeria from qualifying for the Olympics. So over 2 legs, Nigeria couldn't win one.
So it's not a gimme. It's not a gimme at all.
And we're facing them again. But again, this we need to look at how this qualifying phase came about. It's really not the best adopting this. They started this with the age grade competitions.
Wilfred, there's not much you can do about that now.
Yeah, but it's at the end, what it means is that not the best teams will get to represent
so you've got serious reservations about this format.
Certainly, because we're going into an African Cup of Nations here where Women Cup of Nations, it's been expanded from 8 teams to 12. And you won't have the best of African teams playing. By extension, some African teams would have been at the World Cup will miss out.
Yeah, that's another conversation entirely. The CAF decided to bring this change to the qualifying formats, and that's just what it is at the moment. The General Secretary of the NFF, Mohamed Sanusi, talked about deficiencies that must be dealt with before their next game against Cote d'Ivoire. He's talked about how they need to exhibit far greater marksmanship. Not scoring enough goals. Uchenna Kanu got 2 goals away at home.
And they didn't score away. But the thing is, this communique is not clear.
It's not, but we're just trying to take out certain words.
I've read the entire thing, and you should just tell us outrightly. The NFF are unhappy. I'm just saying, this is not what it says. Just say it. The NFF are unhappy about how the Super Eagles play, how the Super Falcons played in the qualifier. We are concerned going to the next phase of the qualifier, and because of this, we may just be maybe changing the coaching crew. Just go ahead and say it. But you don't even need to say it. If you want to do it, just do it. They've done this a lot lately. First, it was Thomas Deneby who left, and Waldron had to come in just over a year ago, thereabouts. And the results haven't been great lately, and it calls for concern, no doubt. But they've actually changed management quite frequently in the last few years.
All right, fingers crossed that we'll see. We'll see as soon as the rejig starts.
Let's use the word reinvigorate.
Reinvigoration.
And the other one, rejuvenate.
Rejuvenate. When all of that starts. When all of those things start concerning the Super Falcons, of course, it can't be hidden forever. We will get to know, and we'll be informing our viewers subsequently. We need to go on a break. It's our final one. When we come back, we'll be focusing on Manchester United. We hear they have sounded out Antonio Conte as potential replacements for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer if he's sacked. Join us again. Welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. Before we go to Old Trafford and tell you about what is going on right there in terms of the future of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, let's tell you that the draw for the CAF Confederation Cup will be done today. That means Enyimba and Rivers United will get to know their opponents for the next round of the competition. All right, let's go to Old Trafford now and tell you the sources from England are saying that Antonio Conte has been sounded out as a potential replacement for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer if he is sacked. We're told the managing director of the club, Richard Arnold, has cancelled all appointments for today to hold crunch talks with the owner of the club, that's Joel Glazer. Of course, this is all coming on the back of that embarrassing and humiliating 5-0 scoreline against their biggest rivals in England, Liverpool. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for whatever reason, out of the coaches that they've had before or after Alex Ferguson, he's received the most support, the most backing.
Old boy.
Yeah, old boy has got the DNA, I guess. One of the reasons why he was supported more than elite managers like Jose Mourinho and Louis van Gaal.
Yeah.
Even David Moyes was a very decent coach at Everton before coming to United. Didn't get all of the players, didn't get the support he wanted. But this man right here has gotten everything in terms of transfer, playing personnel. I mean, they spent
money spent also, yeah.
Yeah, money well. I don't know whether well
money
spent.
Don't
yeah, let's not add
not yet,
because we don't know. Anyway, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been appointed as Manchester United manager, they have spent the most 312 million pounds net spend. So United well ahead of clubs like Arsenal, Tottenham, Man City, and Liverpool and the likes. But so far, not so good. No trophies since 2018.
Near finishes?
They've only been to one final.
Actually, Europa League last season against Villarreal.
Yeah, just one final.
Just one. And four semi-finals. And so they almost turned into a nearly team. And again, I look at this thing. After the game we saw on Sunday, which was very embarrassing, poor United fans, by the way, a lot had to leave even before
the game was over. Yeah,
you won't blame them. But the thing is, I was expecting a reaction from the management. But I don't recall if I even saw any of them in the stands. I mean, like the owners, the Glazers. I'm not sure because the camera kept panning to Sir Alex Ferguson and on the other side, Kenny Dalglish. Wow, two words.
Two legends of the
Not even that, the looks on their faces.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so, but now, first of all, if you're to miss such a game, this is a fixture many owners look forward to.
So they always sure.
And the owners, I didn't see them.
Games,
now, in other words, they probably don't even understand the gravity of what happened at Old Trafford, and that's why we've not seen a reaction up to this point. Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still the manager. I normally would have blamed Ole outrightly. For what we saw on the pitch, the blame goes to Ole. But if after 48 hours, no reaction to what we saw, then I think the board is actually the problem. The owners at this point are the problem at United. So I think I'll say now the bar has been lowered at United.
Yeah.
And so maybe the task now is qualify for Champions League. Money is guaranteed.
Of course.
Go far in a few competitions. Money is guaranteed. And we continue. And if that is it, that's why Ole will think, oh, I'm actually doing well. But it goes beyond that. He may have taken the team from 6th to 3rd in the league, then 2nd last season. But can you actually beat a Chelsea and say that this United team can actually go on and push the likes of Chelsea, Liverpool, and, of course, Man City, who have elite managers, especially for Man City and Liverpool.
And Chelsea as well.
Well, yeah, of course.
You could, cool. Elites, come on.
Yeah, you could. You could call him an elite manager.
He is.
Yeah,
anyways,
but you get the point.
The answer is almost a no.
It's a no.
He is not on that level.
Ole doesn't have it against the sides. So for United, if they want to win trophies, they obviously need an elite manager, and Conte guarantees that.
Conte guarantees that. We hear Antonio Conte is very, very much interested in the job. Recall, he left Inter Milan at the end of last season after leading them to the first Scudetto in over a decade. So he obviously knows how to win.
Also did it in England.
Exactly, he's won in England as well.
And he doesn't need so much time. 2 seasons is enough.
Exactly, yeah. But certain players, certain pundits, I'm talking about Gary Neville and the likes, would say, they've tried the Conte routes before, it didn't work. That's Jose, it didn't work. That was, first of all, Jose won trophies there. Yeah. He didn't get to win the Premier League because obviously it was going up against an incredible Man City side. And the season he came second where he wanted reinforcements.
That didn't happen.
It didn't happen, and he lost his head.
Was even there was a time he asked for just Perisic.
Yeah.
He didn't get it.
He didn't get Perisic. Exactly. And he lost his head, and it was downhill from there. Jose is that kind of character. If he doesn't get what he wants to challenge, he tends to lose it. And the thoughts are bringing in the Solskjaer to come and make everyone happy was the way to go. It's made everyone happy.
Making the class of 92 happy, I guess.
Exactly.
Because they were the ones really backing him.
And bashing the previous managers.
And bashing the previous managers.
Yeah, now they've been very quiet. Yeah.
And now they're quiet.
They're quiet, yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't really work that way, because you look at the coaching crew at United, there is, Carrick is on the coaching crew.
Yes, he is.
Fletcher is in an executive position.
Mike Phelan as well.
Mike Phelan is also there. So, former players. But it doesn't necessarily work that way.
Yeah.
It doesn't. And like I said earlier, bar is being lowered at United, and this is not the way to go. And when you look at the games lined up for them, it could get worse and even more embarrassing.
Yes, it
going
could.
forward. So, and again, it's in that game against Liverpool, you could see the players strolling. Yeah, at some point, you see Salah and Trent all alone, no one tracking their runs. The players were just walking around. It just shows you that they are tired. And maybe they've given up on the manager at the same time.
Interesting. I was going to go there because reports coming out of England also say the players are actually right now doubting the capability of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to take them to the next level.
And I wouldn't blame them, honestly, because
it is obvious, right?
After what we saw against Atalanta, you put up the same team again. You put out the same team against Liverpool. In the first half, you went 2-0 down against Atalanta. Yeah, credit to the guys. They bounced back in the second half and won 3-2. Now, the same team that started, you sent them out again against a better side.
And they do
managed by a Jurgen Klopp who would have seen the Atlanta game. And you went 4-0 down at halftime. What happens to giving other players an opportunity to prove themselves? Lingard, for example, in the few games Lingard has come on to play for United this season, he's been good.
Yeah.
And we saw what he did at West Ham. So, but you go 90 minutes, you don't even give him the opportunity. So, honestly, the buck stops at Ole's door, and in my opinion, he should be taking the fall for it.
Indeed, indeed. Recall last time United lost against Liverpool under Jose. They lost 3-1, a couple of deflected efforts in that game. Jose was gone pretty much after that. But we don't know what's going to happen to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but what is coming out of that part of England is that the owners and the executives, the management are thinking about perhaps making a managerial change. But as it is right now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still definitely in charge of the side. For how long remains to be seen. And that's how we go into the papers for a review before we close the show. We're starting with Sports and Sun. And the very first story on the right, top is Manchester United shortlist managers to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There you go. Osimhen softest fresh attack. Interesting story. Tyson Fury set for match return fight. Tyson Fury, looking forward to seeing the Gypsy King back in the ring.
Who he's beating next?
I don't know. Who's he beating next? It's a foregone conclusion that he is the absolute best in the heavyweight division.
He is actually, no doubt.
All right, so that's it for Sporting Sun. Let's quickly move over to Sporting Life. Messi suffers worst league start in 16 years. Still no goal in Ligue 1.
In the Ligue 1,
Wow.
But he's
whoever thought
in the Champions League so far.
Yeah, but Ligue 1,
they do goalless against Marseille.
Strange.
Actually strange.
Yeah, strange. But Messi will come good eventually. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Barcelona will not sack Koeman. Okay. Looks like they're stuck.
Yeah, do they have the money to pay him off?
Yeah,
That's
perhaps,
the problem, actually. They let go of all those players because of money. And I don't think they'll sack him now.
All right, we also have complete sports as well, too, where Lukman eager to play for Super Eagles. Igalo set to return. Really? All right, we'll leave all of that.
The NFL president posted something on Instagram saying that he personally thinks Igalo will be a good addition because of his experience.
Indeed. Many thanks for coming on the show. Always great to have you on board, Wilfred. Appreciate your analysis, as always. Thank you all for watching as well. Enjoy the rest of your day. I am Tayo Salam. Bye for now.